Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface, and I'm in the level 90 version of the Shado-Pan Monastery, and I'm no longer calling them heroic dungeons because I am following Blizzard's lead, who earlier this week basically said we're probably going to have to revisit that word heroic because they aren't, and they're not going to be. Yep, it's official, the level 90 dungeons are going to be Facewalk. Blizzard have said so. They're going to be there for you to gear up and move to your next area within the raiding tree. So let's just look at that from a logical point of view. If you're making these dungeons cakewalk so people can get gear to progress to the next level of raiding, who is or what is that next level of raiding that you're talking about? Well, you must be talking about Raid Finder, because you sure as hell can't be talking about regular raids. Because in regular raids you have to have a brain, you have to engage the brain so you can do the relevant boss fights, kill the bosses and get your fat loots. But if these are going to be cakewalk, all you're trying to do is gear people up for Raid Finder so that they can spend hours upon hours every day crying in the forums that they haven't got their loot item, it didn't drop for me, QQQ, they can quit out, they can abuse their fellow players, you know, everything that they're currently doing in the Raid Finder format at the moment, in the most disharmonious raid out there. It's almost an anti-raid. Raid Finder is the anti-raids. Unbelievable. So why do I have such a significant problem with this? Well, I'll tell you why. At the moment, you can probably see we're killing Goo Cloudstrike, the first boss of this dungeon, who's no new mechanics, it's just no new mechanics at all, with 4 players and no tank. And why is that? Well, the hunter's got a bug. Physical and metaphorical, not just physical. And what this bug does is it screws with our HPs, and we're currently walking around with 5 million HPs. And normally I wouldn't show this type of video, I'd re-record it, and then I'd do the voiceover based on a 5-person dungeon, or at least on a level playing field dungeon as regards to how we are meant to be as players. However, I'm showing Blizzard a metaphor right now. And my metaphor is this, Blizz, are your dungeons in Mr. Pandaria 5 minutes after the game's launched? They're just this is how easy they are. There's no problem with people dying. There's no trouble with that whatsoever. There's no difficulty to the dungeon. It's very pedestrian. It's very mundane, it's very boring, it's very irrelevant. You have now completely lost any relevance to your dungeons whatsoever. Because you might as well just let people turn 90 and then put in their bags the gear. Because they're never going to come back to these places once they've got their items. There's no incentive to. There's no love for these places. The mechanics of the fights are boring and dull. Why would they come back? They can now get Valor points through doing daily quests. There's absolutely no reason for people to return to your boring, mundane dungeons. And who do I feel sorry for? I feel sorry for the designers that have spent a great deal of their time making these places look fantastic. And for what? So Blizzard can turn them into a big fat joke. And I know, I'm sorry for being a bit ranty and for being a bit but when I play a game to be challenged as well as have fun. In actual fact, I find fun in the challenge, and I don't buy into this for one moment that the majority of WoW players want things to be Facewalk. I really don't. Because Blizzard are so poor with releasing content for games. Dungeons have to play a significant role in that. That's why I was very happy in Kata that the Kata dungeons, the Kata heroics, were tough. And they were tough. And it was great that they were tough. Because you felt as if you progressed and you felt as if you earned your goods. And when you got through and you got that first achievement, it was like, woof! Cool. That was cool. That was great fun. And now, if we're just going to walk into these dungeons, literally, I'm just going to roll my face over the keyboard and come out with maybe a bit of loot. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? That is not fun. It's not fun at all. I might as well go to a vendor and buy an item. So So yes, I've got on my high horse about this quite significantly, but I've got big problems with this beta so far, and you know, it looks great. They've done some fantastic things aesthetically. I quite like the new changes to the talents. I quite like how they've redesigned some classes. But content-wise, the leveling up process was terrible. Absolutely boring, mundane. And then the dungeons are going to be exactly the same. They're going to be cakewalk. The only dungeon that I've had a great time in so far was Scholarmance, whatever you want to call it. And that, I think, also had a nostalgic element, but they changed up the fight so well in that dungeon, it was fun. And if I was to return to a level 90 missed dungeon, it would probably be Scholarmance. So, it definitely wouldn't be Shado-Pan Monastery. No, not at all. Would it be Temple of the Jade Serpent? It's a quick dungeon, but once you've got your items, not really, no. Stormstout Brewery? Not really, no. You've put yourself in a really tricky position here, Blizz. And I'd love to know who the sources of your data are that say everybody wants this game to be dubbed down to a face walk. I really do. And I don't know if Blizzard are panicking because Guild Wars 2's out soon and they're thinking that might be the threat. But you lost 1.8 million subscribers in Cataclysm, and I guarantee you it wasn't because the content was too hard. Absolutely not. And I might be going out on a wild limb here, but if this is your attitude to make everything so easy in Mists of Pandaria, I guarantee you won't lose 1.8 million subscribers. I guarantee you'll lose a hell of a lot more. You will hemorrhage them, and you'll hemorrhage them from the gaping wound that you will leave because you've torn the soul out of this expansion. You've torn the soul out of the World of Warcraft. So tell me if I'm wrong, people. Am I the only person that thinks this? Am I on my own here and everyone else thinks it's a great idea? Or do I have a valid point? Because I don't think there's going to be anything here at the moment that is going to hold people's attention for 2 years. Now, I haven't done any of the raids. I don't know how difficult the raids are going to be yet. They're not released. You know, once they're open, we'll see about that. But when you're nullifying such an important part of the game, and dungeons are a massive part of the World of Warcraft, and when you're turning them to insignificant nothings, wow, you've got to be very careful. So I hope you enjoyed the vid, guys. Please do like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I shall see you all back here very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.